What's up guys, welcome to my YouTube video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to build a HummingBird Frsky V2. I'm stuck here at home because of quarantine. It's super boring, so I was like, why not? Let's make a build video. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to build a HummingBird Frsky V2. NewBeeDrone did not ask me to make this video. I'm just making this video for YouTube content because I literally have nothing else to do since we cannot fly 5-inch quads outside, unfortunately. So first thing we're going to go ahead and do is take everything out of the box and get it ready for assembly. As you guys can see, this is already pre-built. It's actually a bind and fly of the Frsky version, but what we're going to go ahead and do is go ahead and take off the receiver, solder on an Frsky V1 receiver, and then flash the firmware to Frsky so we can fly with the Tyrannus transmitter with no issues at all. There's going to be some cool tips throughout the video, so you guys can go and use them for not only the HummingBird, but also the Acro-B Lite series, BeeDrone series. Watch the video, you guys can go ahead and build one of these as well, or you guys can go and buy the bind and fly version. That is going to be on the NewBeeDrone website, which will be a link down in the description below. Here's actually the first quick tip for the HummingBird and Project Mockingbird series. It's actually going to go ahead and be props out, so that means your top left is going to be spinning outwards, which is going to go ahead and be counterclockwise, and your top right is going to be spinning to the right, which is going to be clockwise. And then for the brushless or BeeDrone Lite series, put it right here. Your props are going to be doing props in, so that means your top left is actually going to be clockwise, and your top right is going to go and be counterclockwise. Of course, vice versa for the bottom right and bottom left. So that's also going to go to mean that your color motor wire is going to be for the top left for the HummingBird. It's going to go and be black and white, and of course for the other side as well. And for the BeeDrone Lite series, your red and blue wire is actually going to be on the left. So basically, what you guys see right here is going to be reversed for the BeeDrone Lite. Next thing I want to mention is I recommend getting a NewBeeDrone prop tool. This will actually save you a lot of money and stress. So to get the props out, a lot of people will go ahead and just grab it and pull it out, which can cause you to rip a motor wire or break the motor plug. So you guys can see this prop tool is pointing towards me right now. It's angling towards me. What you want to go ahead and do is flip it around. You want the NewBeeDrone facing down and put it under, and literally all you have to do is just push up, but not too hard, of course, and the prop flies out. And go ahead and do it for the other side. So I'll show you guys again. Put it under and push up, and there you go. Now you won't end up yanking the motor out and causing to rip the wires or the motor plug. Once you guys have already taken all the props out, if you guys did not know, you can also use the prop tool to go ahead and unplug the motor plug. Some people do it by hand, but that just risks damaging the FC, which that can void your warranty. So what I recommend doing is having the NewBeeDrone logo facing you now, and I'm gonna go and just get it in the bottom, sneak it in there. It's wide enough to fit, and then you just move side to side, of course gently, and it unplugs. And there you go. I'll go and show you guys again. Just sneak it in there in the bottom, in between the plug and the motor plug, and then you just move side to side, gently. And there you go, it comes off. I recommend not doing it with the brushless because these are a little bit bigger, they're a little bit wider, but the motor wires are thicker, so you can't really damage it by pulling it softly, as you guys can see right here. So do not do it with the prop tool when it comes to brushless. I'd recommend doing that by hand because the motor wires are a little bit thicker and it's a little bit easier to grip onto. Once you have unplugged all your motor plugs from the bottom of the FC, this is where we want to go ahead and remove the motor from the frame. And this is where I go ahead and start to see a lot of issues. It's not very hard. You want to go ahead and make sure you have a screwdriver. There's a crappy little one. Of course, there's better ones out there. Don't bully me on mine. But in order to do this, it's actually very simple. What you want to go ahead and do is grab the sides of the motors. Make sure you put your fingers on these struts right here to support the frame. You don't want to do it too hard either because then you'll end up breaking it. But what you want to go ahead and do is hold down from right here, from the struts, so you have some support. And then get the motor with your nails, and then you push up very gently. Pops up. Now, when I'm going to grab your screwdriver, make sure it's flat in between the wires, not on top of the wires. You don't want to be squishing the wires. You want it in between. You can probably see right there. And then just push in, and the motor comes out really easily. Of course, don't yank it because the motor plug can go and get caught. But here, I'll go and show you guys again. Really, really easy. That's a crazy Russian hacker do it. Boom. So you want to go ahead and grab it from the bottom of the motor, the frame to support it. So you're gonna go and bend it, push up, grab your screwdriver, put it in between the motor wires. I'm just gonna go and show you guys right here, and then literally just push up, not too hard, and then it pops out, and there you go, your motor wire comes out along with the motor. And there you go. Of course, repeat the process for the next two motors and you're good to go. Once you have removed your plaid motors, you want to go ahead and install your gold motors into your frame. Now some of you are probably wondering, why are you removing the plaids? Why don't you stick with them? What I found the best efficient setup is gold motors with 0.8 ASI props and a 300 battery. I've gone around 5 minutes of flight time with this. Literally, plaids are nice, but they're just too powerful and I don't have a lot of efficiency with them. So I go and remove them, and that's basically the V2 setup for the HummingBird. Here's another quick tip for you guys. For the brush setup, for the brush motors, it's 0.8 millimeters, and for the brushless, for BeeDrone brushes or HummingBird brushes, it's 1.0 millimeters. Don't forget that, guys. Here's another quick tip for you guys before you guys go and install the motors. You want to pinch it from the motor plug and twist it 3 to 4 times. And before you go and install it, make sure the motor plug is going into the FC. And when you do it, you guys can see these two struts right here are facing out, not towards the FC. The ones that are facing out is the way you want to go and be facing your motor wires. So you guys can see it's going to be going in like this. So that means the white wire is actually facing this way and the black wire is facing this way for this strut right here. As you guys can see right there. Hopefully you guys can go and see that clearly, and of course push it in and hold the bottom a little bit, this right here. So when you go and install it, this little standoff, whatever you want to go and call it, does not squish the motor wire, which can cause issues. It goes right in between. And of course, once you have twisted it, go and install it. Of course, not too hard. These two little pins right here are going to be facing out of the FC. So that means use 2 thumbs. If you don't have 2 thumbs, then I don't know what to say. Go ahead and do it gently, and of course, there you go. I'm gonna repeat that process for the next 3 motors. Once you have installed the gold motors, don't forget to add the little O-rings that go on it to make it look a little bit cleaner. And now we want to go ahead and uninstall the canopy, and to do that, you just unscrew these 3 screws right here. Once you have taken off the screws off the canopy, you want to go ahead and take off the FPV antenna off the back of the canopy, which is not that hard. And then do not yank anything yet, because there's still the camera that is plugged into the FC. In order to do that, that's where I go ahead and grab the screwdriver, which is right here, and then just kind of unplug it a little bit, and there you go. And now this is where we go ahead and separate the boys from the men, because this is where the soldering begins. If you don't know how to solder, I recommend learning, because this hobby involves a lot of soldering. Now we want to go ahead and turn on our soldering iron and set it to 715 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what I set it to, which is also equal to 380 degrees Celsius, which for other countries out there. And the reason why we want to go ahead and remove the receiver is because we want to go ahead and fly with one of these babies, not one of these. Good throwback to these transmitters. Back in the good old days. That actually used to be my first transmitter, by the way, guys, if you guys did not know. Now, in order to remove the receiver, make sure you have a good soldering iron and a good solder. Now, in order to remove this, kind of a lot. Wait, don't breathe that smoke, by the way. Those fumes, not good for you. And then, I need a bite. That's fine. I do most of my soldering on NewBeeDrone, by the way. Not here, and I have good equipment to keep you safe. What I do, I kind of just get a big blob and just start moving back and forth. And just start pushing up a little bit. Not too hard. And then just go ahead and keep on doing that until you take out the receiver. It's not the safest way. I didn't get burned, by the way, guys. It's not the safest way, but that's the way I've been doing it. Yeah. Once you have done that, you have these 4 pins ready to go for your Frsky receiver. Have them all connected. Basically fuse these 3 and then hold the soldering iron and take it off. But that can cause to burn the receiver. And if you're going to go ahead and reuse the receiver for something else, you're going to do that. Now we want to go ahead and do is add a little bit of solder in the tip. And just hold it a little bit because there's some solder left over from the receiver. Once you have done that, you're going to go ahead and grab your Frsky receiver. So here we have the Frsky receiver, and here's a quick tip that maybe you guys did not know. The Frsky and FlySky receivers have the bind button on the left side. Oh, of course, you want to go ahead and install it with the bind button facing upwards so you can click it and it doesn't short something if you put it upside down. So when you install it, you guys can see the bind button is on the left side, of course, as well for the FlySky receiver. But for the DSM receivers, it's actually on the right side for the bind buttons. So if you guys did not know that, there's a quick little tip. That's how you know you have a Frsky or DSM receiver. And also, since the bind button is on the right side, it actually takes 3 pins, and you will have to remove this one on the right side. Actually, very easy. If I ever have to go out and do one, which I'm pretty sure I will soon, because those are selling pretty quickly, I will show you guys that maybe in one of my next videos. I want to go ahead and start on our receiver. It's not very hard. Make sure you hold it down so it's pushing all the way down against the pins, and then you want to go ahead and just start right here. It's a lot easier with flux, but I don't have that with me right now. Definitely buy some. Of course, don't start too much because then that'll be bad. And there we go. Here's our solder receiver. Not very hard. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the camera back on, like how we did when we uninstalled it. Just basically do the opposite. Our receiver, you want to go ahead and make sure it's on there tight. Do a little quick pull. If it is, you're good to go. Now there's a little white arrow on the FC, which is basically telling you that this is the front of the drone. You want to go and point it to the right, and you guys can see the camera plug is right there. Make sure you have a little screwdriver or even tweezers to help you put in the camera, but make sure the white wire is on the right side and the red wire is on the left side of the camera plug. Of course, just use a screwdriver to help you line it, and then you just push it in, not too hard, and then you're good to go. Of course, now you want to go ahead and screw down the canopy to the frame, and then we got a couple more steps to go. I believe it's 2. Here's another quick tip before you guys go ahead and screw down the canopy to the frame. Make sure you align the hole with the screw, because if not, it's not going to actually be secured and it can fall off. After you have screwed it down, make sure your grommets aren't squished, because that basically defeats the purpose of the grommets, which is soft mounting. But yeah, make sure you give it a quick little tug. If you screw it down correctly, it should not pop off. Of course, if it does pop off, just go ahead and redo it. Make sure it's aligned, screw it down, but not too hard to the point where the grommets look squished, and then put the FPV antenna back on. And then a lot of people, there's actually many ways of doing this, but you can, of course, tape down the antenna right here for the RX. Or what I like to do it is a lazy way, is go ahead and, I believe it's like here, yeah. I don't really recommend doing it this way, but if you want to, go ahead. Dude, where are my freaking tweezers? Oh, here they are. A little bit, bring it down to the left side, and then grab it with your tweezers. It can be a little bit hard, of course, when you're recording. And then go ahead and push it out from there. And there you go. It's a little bit lazy, but I find it to work very well. Of course, you want to make sure your antenna doesn't go down there, because then it won't get, maybe a little bit chewed up by the props. But I just have it like this. It works well. I haven't had any issues. Other than that, there's many ways. It all depends on you and how you want to do it. Now let's go ahead and add the pops. It sounded like I said pops, but I said props. I don't know why it sounded like that. And now, of course, don't forget, guys, props out. So you want to go and have this one facing this way. I'll actually have to face that first. And then this one facing this way. And then this one facing this way. This one right here. Now we're all set. Now we have one more thing to do, and that is flashing the firmware. Now you want to go to the NewBeeDrone website, click on download, scroll all the way down, make sure to click on HummingBird firmware, make sure to choose the correct setup and protocol. Now you want to plug in your HummingBird to the computer, make sure you have downloaded the STL link program, click on target, erase chip, okay, click target again. Now program, click browse, make sure to choose the correct firmware, and after that, click OK, start, and then you're good to go. Let it do its thing. You want to plug in your craft, make sure to click the bind button. You should be getting those cop lights. Now go ahead and grab your transmitter. Make sure you have already created a model. If not, there's many videos out there that will show you how. Now you want to go into the menu, make sure you're in D8 mode, click bind, let it do its thing for about 3 to 5 seconds. You should be getting green lights, and then go ahead and back out, and now you should get telemetry, and you're good to go. Watch me arm, and be ready to rip. Now it's your turn.